Hi, I'm Angela Rose, the founder of PAVE, Promoting Awareness Victim Empowerment. I've been doing this work now for many years, and for me, my story was I was kidnapped from a shopping mall parking lot when I was 17 years old. And when I went down to the police station to report what had happened to me, the detective didn't believe me. And it was so re-traumatizing to be through something so makes you feel so powerless. And when you're in that situation in the police station, when you've been through something so traumatic and then not be believed by the detective, it further takes that power away. And so what I want to do is to give you a couple tips so you don't feel alone, because oftentimes when someone's been victimized by sexual assault, you feel very isolated, you feel very alone. And unfortunately, we live in a very victim-blaming society. Sometimes well-meaning parents and friends and loved ones can say things and do things that really make it seem like it was the victim's fault, that blame them somehow. And what I'm here to say is that no matter what the situation was, it is not your fault. And so if you find yourself being victimized by sexual assault, which is any unwanted sexual contact, and it's typically by somebody that we know and we trust. It's a family member, it's a date, it's an acquaintance, it's a friend, it's somebody that's known to us most of the time. And so when that happens, first thing, you're gonna have a lot of confusing feelings. Know that you're not alone. Even if you choose not to go to the police, you absolutely should go to the hospital, because there could be some internal injuries, threat of unwanted pregnancy, maybe even potentially an STD, a lot of which can be mitigated if you go down and make sure that you go to the hospital, but you don't have to go alone. Almost every county in America has a rape crisis center. They have free advocates that can go with you and walk you through the process and support you. Now, what's really important as well is if you choose to go to the police, the advocate can go with you as well to report the crime. In essence, after one's been assaulted, there's a lot of emotions and psychological aftermath that you may be feeling. We deal with a lot of survivors in PAVE, and there's a whole spectrum of the way that people react differently to trauma. Everybody reacts differently. Some people might develop an eating disorder because you want that control over your body that you didn't have when you were assaulted. Maybe cutting. We see a lot of self-mutilation because physical ways sometimes is easier for people to deal with the pain than emotional ways. And so you see a lot of survivors sometimes that will cut themselves. We also see a lot of drug and alcohol abuse on themselves because they want to try and numb that pain and numb all those negative emotions. We also see a lot of post-traumatic stress disorder. So a lot of nightmares and a lot of dissociation, which means physically you're here, but mentally and emotionally you're potentially somewhere else, and that's called dissociation. And it's just a way that your body and your brain, it's a defense mechanism to help you get through that trauma. But there is treatment available, and so finding a good therapist is so critically important. It took me 8 years to go seek a therapist, and when I did that, it was life-changing. You know, I would walk with my hand over my throat when I would walk to class, and I would wash my face and feel like there was somebody behind me, but I never realized that it was because of the kidnapping. And so when I found a therapist that was trained in something called EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, it's just one type of therapy that can help. We can't choose what happens to us, but we have the power to control our response. In the way that we react to negative circumstances in our lives, we can use our own experiences to help other people. And so what I'm here today, the biggest message that I have is that you are not alone. This happens 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys before the age of 18 will be sexually abused. Think about that. Every person knows a survivor. 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys. And so we need to make sure that we're prepared ourselves emotionally and also to be a good friend and a good supporter. And just remember to love and respect yourself, support each other, and together we can change the world.